हम्म,
अमांडा स्टेवली है, स्टेवली,
तो मैंने क्या बोला?
शेल्वी।
हाँ
Oh, Stevlio.
चलिए बोला था।
Today we'll speak about very interesting subject. Like we spoke about Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. Today we'll speak about Newcastle. And I have a question, boys. Where is this PIF project going? Where is this Saudi project going? Because I don't think so it is an open checkbook anymore. And why many people think like this, उसके लिए थोड़ा पीछे चलते हैं. So in 2021 they had full Saudi takeover. Their fans were crazy about the takeover. They were touted as next city. The two key figures and the two co-owners that they had, Amanda Stevely and Mehrdad Gudusi, that couple saw the whole takeover saga. They were making right decisions for the club. They were doing everything right. There were early comparisons with City. बाहर से investment आया and full club को take over किया without any debt, and these are the richest owners in the world. Like, this is not it, these are bigger than Abu Dhabi also. They had a gloomy start. They started with boom. They were doing great things in transfers. They were taking all the sensible and right decisions. They sacked Steve Bruce. Then the team was in relegation. They hired Eddie Howe, and the performances were amazing. As a neutral fan, as a Newcastle fan, they were on the rise, correct? They were doing the right transfers. They bought good players for good amount of money. They didn't overpay. They bought Gimaresh, they bought Isak, they bought Trippier, they bought Botman, Gordon, Nick Pope, Harvey Barnes, and then Tonali. They hired correct football structure under Dan Ashworth. They got Dan Ashworth from Brighton, and they finished that season at 11th place. Later, they were fourth. So there was a significant difference in the on and off the pitch performances. So whole club was motivated to finish above the expectation, and they lost to United in that final.
Yeah,
And they were playing also
हम्म,
good brand of football. Eddie Howe had the same players which Steve Bruce had, and he had them running. Later, there were multiple reports that Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth, they don't get along anymore because Eddie Howe didn't have 100% say in transfers, something like that. Then there was that Tonali ban happened.
yeah,
Then later Dan
हम्म,
Ashworth to United reports started coming out. Then they again gave open pressure. Eddie Howe did answer very controversial things about Dan Ashworth to Manchester United. Later, Ashworth joined United. And this season, there was a significant difference between the footballing management committee and the owners again. Because the two key figures which oversaw the whole takeover saga, they sold their shares to PIF completely and they left the club. And there was a new footballing committee. And the new footballing committee, they had Paul Mitchell as a director of football. After he joined, he openly said this, and I quote: Newcastle appointed Paul Mitchell as a highly regarded sporting director. Later, he criticized transfer policy as unclear and unfit on purpose. So, was he taking shots at Dan Ashworth or was he taking shots at Eddie Howe?
yeah,
That was a question in the air.
हम्म,
Later, the two key figures, which were Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell, they had some issues. There were multiple reports. They communicated with press also on transfers stuff. And let's not forget, Paul Mitchell couldn't give Eddie Howe his number one target, that was Mark Guehi.
yeah,
And they hardly invested last summer. There was also confusion of PSR. There was also reports of PSR. They had to sell someone before July 1. So they were offering Gordon, probably their best player, to Liverpool, which unsettled the player, the whole situation. And the fans were also asking questions that what is happening. So the
yeah,
whole situation again
हम्म,
is questionable now. And there are now the reports have started coming that they either want to build a new stadium or they will renovate St. James Park, which will again cost them nearly 1 billion. So I read a brilliant article on Daily Mail. If you are interested in all those figures and maths and etc., I'm not the expert, but I can pin the link. You guys can check it out. But this whole saga and the whole situation again, do you think it is still an open checkbook?
Yeah, definitely not an open checkbook anymore,
Yeah.
because that seems very clear. I think what has happened here is that you've seen the two people that were hired to sort of handle the operations of the club.
Hmm.
They have moved out. Now, my theory is a slightly different on why they might have moved out. I think PIF always wanted full control, and Amanda and her husband may have been just a initial front to ensure that they can get the club, and then later you can buy off their shares because they were minority shareholders
Yeah,
there.
10% or
Mm.
something.
Yeah, but what it has done is that 3 years ago, the project that you had started, which at the time was looking one of the most exciting, you had a new sporting director, new CEO, new commercial chief commercial officer, new chief financial officer, and a new chief operating officer. That is like the whole executive team. Of those, the sporting director has left, two of your promoters have left, and their CEO, I think, is also on his way out. And to sort of make things worse, from the highs that Newcastle achieved in the first season, because of injuries and the squad
Hmm.
stagnating, etc., etc., various reasons, the football has not gone to that level even now that
Correct.
it was in the first season,
Hmm.
first full season of Eddie Howe. So clearly there is some frustration, there is some doubt. I guess Newcastle is just finding out that it's not so easy being a big club.
And I think what is also complicating the matter here is that, Premier League has been quite swift in order to enforce these sort of rules to cap the influence, the PSR restrictions that are there. So I think at the time of the takeover, PIF probably thought, "के चलो ठीक है, City has got that much of time. City has set a base. ठीक है, तो अपन आएंगे. We've come." And I think everybody saw, you know, Premier League acted, but everybody saw PIL
Hmm.
doing that. Okay, nobody thought कि यार मतलब आएंगे तो कुछ आराम आराम से होगा. फट करके चेंज
Hmm.
करने वाले थे, but then all of a sudden PIL probably did not think that Premier League will be that swift in getting those rules out. So I think that derailed the project to some extent. And of course, like how Azwan mentioned, there has been a lot of instability in the executive room. So but it'll take a lot of time for Newcastle to be with the big boys. So
So
Yeah.
So I think what is happening in Newcastle right now with all this ownership changes and uh,
mm,
Paul Mitchell also coming in, I think the idea now is to boost your finances. So the
Hmm.
yeah,
entire focus seems to be on increasing your commercial side and increasing your revenues. So that links to the whole idea of either a new stadium or renovating St. James's Park. That ties into the idea of Newcastle. I was reading on the Athletic that they have signed some 12 or 13 fresh sponsorship deals in the last 12 months
mm,
itself. So
All from
they are,
Saudi, no?
yeah, most of them from Saudi, quite a few from Saudi. There are also these like shady betting companies like Fun 88 and all, which is their jersey
mm,
sponsor. So I think right now their focus is ke, okay, whatever PSR regulations में we were allowed to spend, उतना spend करके यही team assemble हो सकती है, which is at best
mm,
good enough to compete like top 6, top 7,
Hmm.
not consistently
mm,
break top 4 or challenge for the title, right? Once in a while might happen.
yeah,
सो उनका फोकस है कि इतना खर्चा करके तो जो टीम बना सकते थे बना लिए, अगर हमें वो
Hmm.
नेक्स्ट लेवल वाली टीम चाहिए तो हमारा रेवेन्यू भी नेक्स्ट लेवल पे जाना चाहिए.
Correct.
I think
Correct.
mm,
that is what the focus is, and I think the next couple of years, or maybe a year or so, I think the prime focus will be increasing revenue, and then hoping that with the expertise of Paul Mitchell and all,
Hmm.
you
mm.
can you are able to build a better team. But again, the question is, and I'll ask you guys this: that will Eddie Howe stay till then?
What will be the decision for Eddie Howe? That time will tell. Because he's clearly frustrated. You can see him with his body language. He's not happy because he's still playing the same players that he's playing
Yeah,
जो 2 साल पहले खिला रहा है, Joelinton and all. Also, one thing which is absolutely controversial and funny for Newcastle United fans, I would like to say this as a Manchester United fan and not as a neutral fan for this episode, you guys started this false rivalry after the takeover because Manchester United का नाम लेके you will get the clicks and media and everything, the numbers. You created this hopeless, useless, false narrative around Twitter, around every social media. You mocked us whenever you had defeated us. You had tweeted, and after the last tweet, what was the tweet? Who's the team that's called United? After that tweet, the downfall has started. And I'm absolutely fucking happy to see them like this because they should suffer.
Yeah.
You created this rivalry. Now it is hitting you back. Now I'm back to the neutral zone.
To be honest, like अपना भी डाउनफॉल वो ट्वीट के बाद से ही स्टार्ट हुआ.
वही
Dude,
है।
I don't care.
मैं वही बोलने
I
वाला था
don't
भाई। अपन को इसी यही यही चीज ना चुन चुन के इसी में खुशी मिल रही है आजकल, यही अपना डाउनफॉल
हाँ
है।
हाँ कोई बात नहीं अपना डाउनफॉल लास्ट 10 साल से चल रहा है कोई बात नहीं सह लेंगे वो उससे मेरे को अभी फर्क नहीं पड़ता बट दिस फकिंग न्यू कैसल स्टे इन योर लेन
Yeah.
स्टे इन योर लेन नो
हाँ वो जबरदस्ती वो ना थोड़ा मतलब
जबरदस्ती
जब
है
कुछ
ये
जल्दी होता है ना कि बहुत जल्दी पैसा आ जाने के बाद यू डोंट नो हाउ टू
Yeah.
स्पेंड इट, वही वाला सीन है वो लोग का। अभी
and
फेम
I
मिला
think now
नहीं
you
लेकिन
can't
ऐसे एक्ट
spend
कर
it
रहे हैं जैसे दे आर यू नो दे ओन द फेम,
नो
ऐसे बिहेव
आई
कर
थिंक
रहे हैं।
वो लोग सिटी का सक्सेस देखे हैं तो वो लोग 1-1 इक्वेट कर रहे हैं ऐसा सोच के कि ओ उनके पास मिडल ईस्टर्न कंट्री ओन करने आई तब से वो लोग जीते जा रहे हैं तो यानी मतलब हमारे साथ भी यही होगा. They
but
don't know they are called
they
United.
were but jokes aside they were on the correct path and they were taking brilliant decisions but now
O-
suddenly the situation has changed and now the time will tell what will happen with Newcastle.
Overall, I think overall longer term में देखेगा तो they are still on the rise only.
Hmm.
So
हम्म।
I think like overall, if you improve your facilities, if you improve your ability to buy better players, and like for example, by Sandro Tonali was a signing that would have never happened to Newcastle, right? That guy left AC Milan to come here, so that could have been a statement signing. But whatever, the ban happened there, so we never got to see him play.
I think a low-key AC Milan knew the ban was coming. Maybe that's why
Possible,
they sold
very
it.
possible.
But they have good
ठीक
bunch
है,
of players, Newcastle. Let's see
दे
how they
हैव अ
cope
गुड
with it.
टीम एंड उनको मतलब इट्स जस्ट आई थिंक इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम, दे जस्ट हैव टू सॉर्ट दीज थिंग्स आउट
Yeah.
एंड वंस दैट इज देयर तो लाइक पैसे की कमी नहीं है। दे आई थिंक द सऊदी लीडरशिप पीआईएफ जैसा अगर है कोई तो दे विल डेफिनेटली मेक श्योर दैट वो पैसा वेस्ट तो नहीं जा रहा है, बिकॉज दैट इज
Hmm.
व्हाट द फंड इज ऑल अबाउट। इट इज नॉट टू स्प्लैश कैश बट इट इज टू जनरेट एन इन्वेस्टमेंट दैट इज गोइंग टू
Yeah.
गिव देम लॉन्ग टर्म रिटर्न। तो सीरियस सी
Correct.
प्रोजेक्ट है।
Quick thoughts on what will be the position that Newcastle will finish after seeing results so far? Because I don't remember हम लोग ने कोई भी prediction में उनको कहीं पे भी रखा है
I think top eight they can push for top eight.
सेम
this season,
टॉप एट।
Yeah,
है
definitely
ना?
they can push for top eight, and if they have a
हम्म।
fantastic season, then probably top six. But I don't see them going beyond top six for now.
I
Yeah,
think they will definitely finish above United as per current circumstances. Then
for
they
sure.
can again start a rivalry, not a problem. Okay, if you want us to talk about any specific topic, please let us know in the comments and keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.
Peace.